Hey. This your girl Yasmin One. Thank you for clicking on this video. Stay on this video because I will be talking about when I hit rock bottom. Make sure you like and subscribe because I need more subscribers. So help me out. All right, let's go. Hey. So, like I said, this video is going to be about when I hit rock bottom. I was in a place where I was very dysfunctional. I had low self-esteem, no confidence, all over the place, letting anybody in my space, just desperate, just everywhere. Okay, my life was not in order, and I could not understand why things was not in order. I just was just living, right? Just living. And so one day I received a phone call. I was at work and one of my neighbors said, Yasmin, you need to come home because something's not right. I came home, I went home, and I seen this notice on my door, and the notice stated that I would be evicted. I would have to leave in 5 days. I had 5 days to move my stuff. So I was like, what? So I called the rent office and they had like a little attitude, you know how that go. And they didn't really explain to me why they were kicking me out, because I had, paid a majority of my rent, because at the time, like I said, I was struggling. I was just all over the place. My job was like halfway hanging on. Hours were getting cut. And I had told them that I will give them the rest of the money probably like that next week or so. And but that was my first time doing that or whatever there, and I just need them to help me out because I didn't have it. And now, mind you, there were a lot of residents around me, married couples and all that, were like 3 and 4 months behind on their rent. So the lady basically said that, I needed all the money and this and that. But like I told her, I said, well, you have something in your hand. It's not like you don't have anything. You have some money in your hand. And so she didn't want to hear it. We got into it. She hung up the phone. And I called my mom and I'm like, Mama, I don't know what's going on, but I need you to come over or whatever. She came over. I showed her the paperwork, and I just didn't know. I didn't know what was next. So the time where I moved all my stuff, I moved it into a storage home because I'm like, I don't know what to do. And so I did that. It's like when it happened, everybody that was my friends disappeared. When nobody answered their phone, I only had one person to help me move. We like load stuff on the truck. It was ridiculous. And so when I got all my stuff in the storage room and realized, dang, Yasmin, you don't have nowhere to go. Now, I had someone told me that I could move in with them, and I told them, look, just give me like 2 months until I get on my feet, because I just need to figure out where I'm going, and then just help me out. I will give you something, this and that. They told me yes. And when it was time to actually move in into their place, that one left. Okay, that's a whole other story. I'm not even finna get into that. But that one left. I asked my parents, could I move in? That was a no. So basically they were like, you got friends, whatever. So it's like everybody that I thought was my friend, they would not let me move in with them. And it was just like for a moment time, because I'm a type of person. I'm a go-getter. Like I'm not going to leech off nobody. I'm not going to like depend on nobody. I'm gonna go get it myself. And they know that. So my children, they was taken care of. They were at their grandparents' house. So long as they were straight, I was straight. I knew like, okay, long as they okay, I'm okay, you know. So with that being said, I just, in the midst of that, I realized that I didn't have nowhere to go. I realized that, like, Yasmin, you are alone right now. So you need to really figure out what you're going to do. When I was in that position, I ended up basically was homeless. Basically sitting in my car, my 97 car with no air, right? Just sitting in my car. Just like in a daze, like, what is going on? Finding myself taking baths at not restaurants, but like a fast food place like McDonald's, or well, not taking a bath, but washing up there. Like, it was that bad. Like, I would go to my parents' house and take a bath and just dip, you know, because I didn't want nobody to feel like I was in their way. And, you know, I'm that type of person, like, I don't want to bother nobody. And it would be times where I'll go stay at one of my friend's house, but I couldn't really, like, just completely crash there because, like, they had roommates and stuff. So it was like I couldn't really do that. So that was the moment when I really had to tap into myself. That was the moment when God spoke to me. That was the moment when I gained my confidence back. That was the moment when I realized that is enough. That I don't want any more struggle in my life, but it's going to take me to do what I have to do to get back. To get back at life, to fight through this obstacle that I was going through. It's going to take me. It's not going to take nobody else to give me a helping hand. Yes, I needed a helping hand at the time, but it's going to take me. And when I was going through that, I think I had lost my job too at the midst of that time. Like, looking back at it, it brought me into my purpose. It brought me into who I am. And a lot of people, when I come out and talk about it now, because I'm kind of confident in talking about it now, because I wasn't at the time. And it happened about maybe a year and a half ago. But when I sit back and think about that, that brought me into my purpose. And I remember one night I went to church, and one of we had a special guest that came. He was like a bishop from Africa, or a prophet from Africa, and his message was so powerful. I needed it. I think I broke down at church because he was speaking into my spirit. He was speaking to me. And you know, at my bishop at the time, he was just saying that somebody in this room is going through where they lost everything that they had. And I was like, oh my gosh. That's like, I completely broke down because I didn't have no money to get gas. I didn't have no money to really get food. Like, it was rock bottom for me. It was really rock bottom for me because I didn't have nobody. And to this day, people will say, oh, Yasmin, you could have reached out to me, but I don't think so, because you didn't reach out to me at all, period. You know what I'm saying? Like, I have to talk about my situation in order for you to say, oh, you could have reached out to me. No. Because it would have been the same thing, right? So I went into his office and I was telling him the situation. I was all over the place. Like, all over the place. Like, kind of after I got done explaining what was going on, I was kind of embarrassed because a lot of people heard what I was talking about, and you know how people is. But I was actually going through that. I was actually broken. I was actually lost. I was actually just like all over the place. I felt like my life was ending. I felt like my life was ripped apart like that, right? And I broke down. Like, I'm like, I don't know what to do. I have not, like, I'm not, like, what is going on? That's how I kept saying, like, what is going on? So he talked to me, and this lady came in the office, and it just went from there. And she told me what she did, and she asked me what I did. I told her. But I told her, you know, what I really want to do in life. People always told me that I wasn't qualified to do it. And she said, Yasmin, I'm here to tell you, you could do anything you put your mind to. What she told me that for. And what she told me that is like something, I don't know, like I just started feeling something, like just something just said, like just everything just got back in order. And when I sat back and I thought about it, I'm like, you're right. And it took that one thing, that one simple thing to just snap me back. And she was telling me her story of, you know, being destroyed, losing someone that was very close to her, losing her husband. And when she told me that story, and she showed me, you know, I wrote these books and I did this and I did that to help me get through my situation. It did something to me. And ever since that night, it changed. That night changed my life. That night made me into who I am now. It's like when I left church that night, my mom did allow me to come to her house to stay the night. I think my children was over there, and she wanted to spend some time with them. And I ended up going over there and staying that night. But it was just something like, I can't even explain it, yo. Like, I felt something, and this is serious. I felt something in my body, like some type of, like somebody was just like doing this to me. Like I felt it all, and it was like up in here. I felt like somebody was just poking me like this. And when I felt it, I couldn't move. I was like just stuck. I couldn't move. And I just felt something just like this. And I'm like, I don't know what's going on. And I still don't know what it was. But I know it had something to do with my situation. It had something to do, like, to be honest, I know that was God or his angels was giving me my strength back, was sending me blessings. He was working on me. He was pulling me in because I always believed in God. I always have, but I didn't have the relationship that I should have had with him. I never had that relationship like I do now. And I'm going to tell you one thing about God. If you don't get those toxic people out of your life, or get your life in order, he will do it for you. And don't wait till he do it, because when he do it, he do it. And that's what happened to me. He said, Yasmin, you're taking too long, sweetie, and ripped everything apart to show me, like, okay, I'm the person that you need to depend on. You don't need to depend on nobody else. You don't need to be out here desperate. You don't need to be out here filled with depression. You don't need to be out here filled with stress. You don't need to be out here worrying about how is this going to be taken care of? How is that going to be taken care of? Because you have your Father. And at the time, I was always worried about how this, how that, how this, how that, how this, how that. But now I know that God got me just by going through that situation, just by building my relationship with him, just by stepping into my purpose. Now I know, like, no, he got it. And so after that, I said, you know what, yes, in order for your situation to change, you're going to have to change. You're going to have to really, you're going to have to step into your purpose. And that's how I found what I was assigned to do. When I sit back and I think about the things that I used to do as a child, because anybody that came on this earth, which everybody came on this earth, anybody that, was a newborn, which everybody was a newborn, right? Anybody, your talent is given to you then. As a child, you are doing things then to represent what you're supposed to be doing on this earth. And all that time, when I look back as a child, I was doing what God wanted me to do. I was doing it. It will be times where I am in my room, okay? In my room teaching to my bears. In my room teaching to my dogs. And my mama be like, who you in there talking to? Be quiet. But I was imagining, and I had a vision that I was talking to thousands of children at the time, because I was a child. I would be really imagining that I'm talking to people, I'm teaching them. And, as I, growing up, it would be times I would get in the mirror and pretend that I'm on a talk show, or I'm on CNN, having a discussion with one of the people on CNN. Like, I was imagining and envisioning all that time in my life, but not knowing that I was acting out what God had assigned me to do. And not realizing that, working jobs and stuff, working and stuff like that, it would never work out for me. And that was the reason why, because God did not put us on this earth to be modern day slaves. He put us on this earth to do our talents, to show off our talents, to show off our creations. And when I realized that, and when I tapped into my purpose, I'm like, Lord, this is what you've been telling me the whole time. And as I began to continue to build my relationship with him, and continue having faith and believing, and knowing that I am qualified for all things, that's when everything snapped back. And it's snapping back. It's still snapping back. Like, I'm not all the way where I want to be at, but I can tell you that I am grateful. I have more than what I had. And so if you're in a situation, or you have been in this situation, I'm telling you, like, stay focused, keep your head up, because we think at a rock bottom situation, we feel like that's the end of the world. But I'm here to tell you that it's not the end of the world. Sometimes God send your gifts in something that hurts. He send your gifts in something that's wrapped in sandpaper, something that will just rip you apart. And he does that so you can use it as a testimony, so you can share your story with people. And I'm telling you, when you have a bad enter into your life, there's a good right behind it. But we don't think of it like that. But that's how you need to start thinking about it. If I'm in a bad situation, I have a good coming right behind it. But you gonna have to trust and believe. And when I start doing what I love and start really enjoying, so like when I started doing what I love, man, like my life have start making more sense, and I'm more aware of things now. My intuition talked to me a lot. And when you're at peace, when you meditate, because I'm gonna do a video on that too, meditation. You start opening up your intuition, and that's gonna be on the next video. So I'm not gonna go all the way into that, but I can tell you that I'm more aware. And it's like when you're more aware of things, like it's right there in your face. Like the red flags are there. Like they like this. Like you're not trying to figure out this or that. Like it's there. So I hope somebody gets something from this story. I really do. If you're in a position where you done lost everything and you was homeless or is going through that now, man, just stay strong and build your relationship with God, because it's something that He want you to do. It's somebody that He want to be out your life. Because in order for us to step into our greatness or do what we want to do, we're going to have to leave some of them people behind that we hang out with, because everybody is not supposed to be in your future. Everybody is not supposed to be there with like where you going to be at. Everybody don't belong in that circle. And see, at the time, I was trying to pull this person where I'm going, trying to pull Susan, Anna, Lucy, trying to, because I'm the type of person, I love everybody. I have a heart, and I'm just trying to pull everybody along. But while I'm pulling and I'm pulling and I'm pulling, I'm sinking as I'm pulling. So the Lord had to come in and just take all of it away, because He like, Yasmin, you're doing too much. Like, no, like I have more. I have things for you, but you can't bring Susie along. Susie not your friend. Like, how can you, Susie? No, Susie over there talking about you. No, I don't want her in this. So He would do it. I mean, he would do it, but it's gonna take you to jump into what you're supposed to be jumping into as well. It's gonna take you to put that left foot out and put that right foot in and shake it all about. So I hope y'all enjoyed this story. I hope somebody gets something out of this. Comment below, let me know, like, if you have a story, if you can relate, type relate. If you can relate and you want to share your story down below, man, do that. Like, reach out to me. You can also reach out to me through my email, social media, whatever. And just make sure you like and subscribe this video and share it with someone that's going through the same thing, because everybody needs encouraging. So see y'all guys later. Mwah.